Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, I want to go over a strategy that I've seen played quite a bit by one of our regulars, and it's interesting. I'm not going to say whether or not it's a good strategy. I may have filmed something along these lines once before. I cannot remember, so I figured I would just show it to you guys again if I had. And yeah, let's take a look at it. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for the coffees you guys bought us. As we said before, unfortunately, it didn't go towards coffee. It went towards Bill's and my son's birthday, thanks to our illness paychecks that we ended up getting. But we got him an awesome Baby Yoda birthday cake. I wish I had taken a picture of it to show you guys. But thank you again, everybody, very much. Helped us out greatly. And so let's take a look at this strategy. Now, his strategy is fairly basic, but it ends up leading to a lot of what the hex as it gets played through. So it starts out with a very interesting don't pass of $22. Now, what I have not been able to figure out yet is if he is doing $22 because he has some kind of idea in his head of how it's the ideal number, or if it's because he's superstitious. Now, from watching him play, I don't see any other signs of anything that might say he's superstitious, because typically when somebody has a very specific and kind of an oddball number that they play due to superstition, you see a lot of other superstitions come into play. And in his case, I don't see any. So he may have some kind of strange idea of what of that might be in the ideal number. I'm not sure, but it's definitely interesting. But he always does a $22 don't pass. Very strange. Now, once there is a point, he goes ahead and he goes across. Now, he typically plays on a $10 table. Sometimes he plays on a $15 table. Either way, he's going to do the minimum across. So in his case, it would be, in this case, if it was a $10 table, it would be 54 across. If this were a $15 table, he would do 81 across. He comes in with a decent enough bankroll that he can see a number of shooters. And because of his strategy, he doesn't lose a lot of money every single shooter in general. So he's able to see a lot of shooters. He does manage to pull a little bit back from time to time. Although it's interesting because the way he does it, he doesn't really make a whole lot of money. So I guess I kind of said that wrong. He doesn't pull back all that much. He just has a decent enough bankroll, typically maybe 1,000 to 1,500, to where he can see a number of shooters. Because this is what he does. As numbers roll, okay, and it doesn't matter what the number may be. Okay, so a 5 rolls. So as a 5 rolls, this is going to pay him $14. Now, there's a number of things that he could do. The very first thing that we tend to notice he does is he places the point. Then he's going to take the remainder of the money. Now, this is interesting because what he's trying to do is he's trying to hedge himself. But it's I guess, silly. Like we always say, pick a side. Should the 9 roll, he loses $22 and makes $14. So he loses $8. Should the 7 roll, he wins 22 there, but just with the 9, he loses $10. So he only made $12. Like you're taking away from what you can win. If you want to play both sides, first just reduce your bet. If you want to risk less money, you want to partially hedge yourself, just make smaller bets. Once you're at table minimum, then you can start looking at some kind of hedges. But the first thing he does, he places that 9. Then as things roll, so now as a 6 rolls, now he's got a couple different ways he can do it, and he does basically 3 different things, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's kind of what his gut feels like telling him. He will either press 1 unit, so we'll go ahead and press this 1 unit. The other thing he may do, especially once something has been pressed up once already. So like if the 6 were to roll again, at this point he gets paid $21. Now he may, this time, now that it's already been pressed up once, what he may do is he may go ahead and give himself a lay. Since he's on the 9, it has to be divisible by 3, and then he'll collect the rest. So he does, like I said, he collects a tiny little bit, but not much in comparison to what he has at risk. So if the 6 were to roll again, and I'm kind of staying with the 6 right now because it's been pressed up, because again, he does different things. Now if the 6 were to roll again, it pays $21. Now this time what he may decide to do is he may decide to make the 9 a quarter. Now 6 is divisible by 3, so he's very likely to put all of the remainder on his lay. He typically does not pull back money if he can place it out somewhere on the table. So let's say the 6 were to roll again. Now in this case, he would probably say, you know what, press me up another unit. So he would go up to 24. Now he's got $15 here. Well, guess what? That's divisible by 3. So that would be proper on a lay. So he would add it to his lay. I almost never see him take money and put it in his rack. He plays a lot. He must be a local here. So I see this strategy day in and day out almost. And the thing is, he'll play for 6 hours. I don't see him win. I don't see him lose a whole lot either, but I don't see him win. Because his win conditions are very, very strange. You know, if a 7 out were to occur right now, he's going to make, let's see what he's got here. So he's got $36 here. That means he's going to make 24 here, plus he's going to make 22 right there. Okay, so that's $46, plus this right here, this 36 is all winnings from over here. But the problem with that is, so he's making about $70 there, but he's losing everything up here. Now, if you just look at his initial investment, that means he loses $54. So he loses $54 to make 70-something bucks. So he made 20-something. He would make 20-something dollars right now. If a winner 9 occurs, then he loses 36 plus 22, so he's losing $58 to make 35. Now, if you look at his initial investment of 22 instead, and he's making 35, okay, he made $13. Then he's going to go back and put himself back on that don't pass. And this is how he goes through his entire time playing. He'll have everything at green, and he'll have his lay stacked up to here because he won't swap the colors out on it. And then he'll continue to do that. He'll continue to partially press. The only time he stands a shot of making any kind of money is if he happens to catch a 30-minute roll. Because if he manages to catch that, because he continues to partially press these numbers, once he gets into the greens, then he tends to start mid-pressing. You know, from 25 to 35 to 50, 75, stuff like that. From here, 30, 42, 60, things along those lines. Then he might go to 72 instead of 90. So at that point, he's starting to collect between $25 to $50 every single time. So that kind of wipes out his initial investment. But he has to catch a monster roll. His entire strategy here seems to be based on catching monster rolls. And if that's your strategy, why are you bothering with the don't pass? Why don't you just go ahead and come across? The don't pass would assume that your strategy is to catch a 7 out, but a 0.7 out actually hurts him. He would make $22, but he would lose $54, so he's losing $32 on a 0.7 out. If he hits a point and then some random number and then a 7 out, he's still losing. He's still losing the same amount because the first number that hits, he generally places the point. It's not until the second, third time the same number hits that he starts giving himself lays, which will increase what he wins on a 7 out. But then his danger point becomes the winner, except that he kind of washes himself here. So he kind of pushes on just about everything. He loses tiny little increments on just about every conceivable way the dice can go. I don't know where he came up with the strategy. I don't know why he came up with it, how he came up with it. And I don't understand why he hasn't realized after playing this 20, 30 days, 20, 30 different times, and going home with less money than he started with. I don't know why he hasn't realized that the strategy is just, it doesn't work, because he's played enough that he has caught every conceivable type of roll. He has caught a couple hours of short rolls of an ice cold table, 0.7 outs, point something 7 out, point something something 7 out. He's caught a couple hours of super ice cold tables and lost money. He's caught a couple hours of consistent 5 to 10, 12-minute rolls and lost money. He's caught the 20-minute roll and lost money. He's played for a few hours, caught a 40-minute roll somewhere in there, and by the time he colored up, lost money. He doesn't really have a win win condition anywhere on this table. So I haven't been able to figure out why he does this, but I thought I'd share it with you guys. It's kind of interesting. Hope you guys find it interesting, illuminating, enlightening, or at least just plain fun. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now. Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you everybody for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now.